Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video. We have two more cards to review today. Actually, quite a bit to go over today. Two more cards, two epics revealed by two friends of mine, which is really awesome to see. And yeah, we're gonna do that. But before we get into it, again, friendly reminder of the giveaway we're doing. Like, comment on this video. It's linked below. If we hit 45,000 subscribers by April 5th, I'm giving away 3 mega bundles instead of 2. So hit that subscribe button if you feel like I've earned your subscription. And before we get into the card review, I do want to mention the schedule coming up, what you guys can expect, because I keep seeing a lot of questions in particular about when is the core set going to be revealed, because we still don't know it. So the cards revealed are up to this point from the Play Hearthstone card site, 10 a.m. today, and then there'll be 2 or I think 3 different reveals tomorrow up till 10 a.m. Then I might do 1 or 2 videos based on that, and then nothing until April 5th. And it looks like that's the Hunter Colossal minion in the thumbnail, but that's when the core set, that's when the year theme will all be revealed, is April 5th. So I'm just clarifying it again. I've mentioned it before, but I swear I see a comment on it every single video. When is the core set coming? April 5th. We'll get the final dump of all the cards, probably the Hunter Colossal, and yes, the core set, and maybe there'll be reverts, and there'll be a ton of stuff to cover. So look forward to that. Anyways, the new cards. What are the new cards? Well, Aveline revealed this card, which I gotta say, Blizzard, you're making streamers' lives very miserable with this card name. We're gonna have to be very careful while saying it, and our chats are not gonna be kind. But it's a 2-mana Warlock epic spell, Chum Bucket. It gives all Murlocs in your hand +1/+1. You repeat for each Murloc you control. So again, we need to know what's in the core set, because there's a lot of good core set style Murlocs that could be good with this, like a Murloc Tidehunter, 2-mana 2/1 that spawns a 1/1. You play that, all of a sudden you are giving what, +3/+3. I am assuming you get +1/+1 no matter what. 2-mana base buff. You give all your minions, you have +1/+1, then you repeat for each Murloc you control. So you have 2 on the board, you're getting +3/+3 in stats for 2 mana. We've seen that effect very good, be very good with like conditioning and warrior. Of course, hand buff paladin has worked, and this just, it really depends on the Murlocs, because what we have right now, what we've seen for Murlocs for Warlock is it's good. It's but not amazing. You have the 3-mana 3/4, I believe, that puts a card at the bottom of your deck. You have the 4-mana 4/4 that cheats out another Murloc, and then you have the Colossal Murloc, which is very slow for this. So we don't know really like what the cheap Murlocs are going to be yet. So standalone card in terms of if any decent Murlocs, cheap Murlocs are available for Warlock, this is an incredible hand buff card. I highly doubt they're going to put in like Bluegill or Old Murk-Eye and put charge Murlocs back into the game for Warlock, but in Wild, you have Bluegill, you have Old Murk-Eye. Maybe some like charge shenanigans could go on there where you fill your board and then buff up chargers in your hand. Is this going to make Murloc Warlock? I think Murloc. Wait, no, that's just the, it's going to be a confusing name, and this name's not helping. I'm telling you right now, this name's not helping. Is Murloc Warlock going to be a thing? They seem to be really pushing for it, and cards like this can get really out of hand very quickly. And when you're Warlock and you have life tap and you can, you know, draw cards pretty reliably and buff a good amount of stuff in your hand, I think Chum Bucket, I'm being careful, I don't want to get demonetized here. I think Chum Bucket could be a very powerful card, but again, it's so hard to evaluate. But you know what? We're taking risks. We're reviewing cards and giving star ratings with very little information, and I will give this a 3 out of 5 in standard. I think it could work out. Murloc Warlock, Murloc Lock might work out. It might work out, and if it's going to work out, a card like this you would think would help because it's so many stats. And in Wild, you got Life Tap, you got Cobalt Librarian, all these good card draw things, but that's not a Murloc. You want to play Murlocs, but you have a lot of the cheap Murlocs play like Tiny Finn, just dump that on the board and play this. You can do some pretty cool stuff. I'll give it a 3 out of 5 in Wild, because if Warlock can abuse something, they're really good at doing it in Wild. And maybe this is something they can abuse, where they just get a ridiculous, they have 7 Murlocs on the board really quickly, and then boom, it's like +8 in hand, and then Smork with a bluegill or you know, the like I said, old Murkeye. It's a possibility, so I'll give it a passing grade in Wild. And Blizzard, I think it's a SpongeBob reference from what I understand. I'm an old man, I don't watch that stuff, but yeah, apparently that's what the dev named it after. And he's like, oh no, Twitter, what's wrong with Twitter? I'm like, well, I may be like in my 30s, but I'm 12 years old at heart. And the last card we have to go over today is a Mage Epic. Another Naga for Mage. Definitely getting their fair share of Nagas. 4 mana 2/5 Spite Lash Siren. After you play a Naga, refresh 2 mana crystals. And then it says, then switch to spell. My assumption, and based off Cantaloupe's video, by the way, Cantaloupe, amazing musician. I don't have the audio on. Check it out. I'll link his tweet below. He is an absolute close friend of mine. Love the dude. And, an amazing talent in more ways than one. Got some pretty sweet tunes here, so check that out if you haven't. I'm assuming then switch to spell means after you play a spell, refresh 2 mana crystals and it goes back and forth. That's my interpretation of the card. And I mean, we all know mana generation, mana cheating is good. We've seen with Dark Glare, it was a 3 mana 3/4 that would give you 2 mana crystals, but this refreshes. That's very important to note. You can't gain extra, but it's kind of in that line where you play a Naga, you gain 2 mana, you play a spell. Sorry, you don't gain, you refresh it, you play a spell, refresh it. This effect has been very, very good in the history of Hearthstone. And with Naga and spells and all of that, I think this is a very scary card. It's 4 mana, but you have, and we haven't seen a lot of cheap Nagas, to be fair. You're playing this, you need cheap Nagas to really utilize it, and we haven't seen that yet. But again, there's like 40 something cards left. There's the core set. Who knows? And if Zola is in the core set like we think, you could Spite Lash Siren and Zola it and then do some real shenanigans. I think it's a very strong card. Mana generation, mana cheat, we all know is incredibly good. And spells typically are pretty easy to make cheap in Mage. It's just whether you can get the Naga thing going, but I think you will be. This card scares me. The artwork is amazing, though. I gotta say, they have absolutely nailed... Dude, the hair. I'm getting a haircut today, so hopefully this will be better tomorrow. Anyways, the artwork has been spectacular, and the flavor has been great, but a card like this makes me scared out of my mind. Maybe I'm misinterpreting the then switch to spell because there was no gameplay video, but I'm pretty sure it's just a bounce back and forth, and it'll be a really interesting mechanic. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5 in standard. I think this can be abusable, and in Wild, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 because there's like Mana Biscuit and all sorts of busted cheap spells you can do, Incanter's Flow, all of that. It just really depends on the Naga pool, but they're going to add more Nagas to the game. You would think even after this expansion, as time goes on. We haven't really seen another Quillbore since they added Quillbores that I can think of, now that I think of that, but I imagine we'll see more Nagas at some point. But regardless, yeah, as long as there's some cheap Nagas for this, I think this is a very powerful and very, very scary card that could lead to some pretty interesting miracle turns. So there you go. That's the reviews for today. We'll have some more tomorrow, at least 1, maybe 2. Depends on how spicy the cards are. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.